Lisa Martinez looked at her watch again. The numbers on the small screen made her heart beat faster. She had only 20 minutes left to catch her flight to Chicago. 20 minutes to run across the big airport and find her gate. 20 minutes to save her job. She walked as fast as she could through Denver International Airport. Her black high heels made clicking sounds on the shiny floor. People moved around her in all directions. Some walked slowly with their families. Others ran like her, trying not to miss their flights. The airport was busy and loud. Lisa carried a small black bag on her shoulder and pulled a rolling suitcase behind her. Inside the bag was her laptop with the most important presentation of her life. Tomorrow morning in Chicago, she would meet with the biggest client her company had ever tried to get. If she got this client, she would finally get the promotion she had worked for during the past 2 years. If she missed this meeting, someone else would get the job she wanted. She checked the big screen that showed all the flights. Her flight to Chicago was still on time, gate B12. She looked around for signs that would tell her which way to go. The airport was huge, and gate B12 seemed very far away. As Lisa hurried toward the gate, she heard voices getting louder near the customer service desk. She slowed down a little to see what was happening. A black man stood in front of 3 people who worked for the airline. He looked like he was in his early 40s. He wore a nice dark blue suit and carried a leather bag. His voice was calm, but Lisa could tell he was upset. The man pointed at the big screen that showed the flight times. "I was here 30 minutes before my flight. That should be enough time," he said in a steady voice. The woman behind the desk shook her head. She had short brown hair and wore the airline uniform with a name tag that said, Janet. She did not look at the man when she spoke. "Sir, I already told you. We gave your seat to someone else. You have to be here 45 minutes before your flight. That is our rule." The man took a deep breath. His name was Marcus Johnson, but none of them, airline workers, knew who he really was. Marcus owned SkyConnect Airlines, the same airline that was treating him so badly right now, but he was traveling like a regular passenger today. He wanted to see how his airline treated people when they did not know he was the boss. "My flight from Seattle was late because of bad weather," Marcus explained. "Your airline can check that. It was not my fault that I got here only 30 minutes early." A supervisor walked over to help. She was an older woman with gray hair. She barely looked at Marcus before she agreed with Janet. "The policy is clear," she said in a cold voice. 45 minutes. No exceptions." Lisa stopped walking completely now. She watched the 3 airline workers talk to Marcus like he was bothering them. They looked annoyed, like they wanted him to go away. Lisa had seen this kind of treatment before. She knew it was wrong. "When is the next flight to my destination?" Marcus asked, still keeping his voice calm and polite. Janet clicked on her computer keyboard without looking up. "Tomorrow morning, at 8:30. But that flight is full too. You might have to wait until tomorrow afternoon." Lisa saw Marcus close his eyes for just a moment. She could tell he was trying not to get angry. When he opened his eyes again, his voice was still steady. "Is there anything you can do to help me get on a flight today? This is very important." The supervisor crossed her arms. "Sir, we have rules for a reason. If we break them for one person, we have to break them for everyone." But Lisa knew that was not true. She had seen airline workers break rules before to help other passengers. Usually passengers who looked different from Marcus. Usually passengers who were not black. The loudspeaker crackled to life. "Attention passengers. Flight 447 to Chicago is now boarding all rows. Please have your boarding pass ready." Lisa looked at her boarding pass. Flight 447. Her flight. The flight that would take her to the most important meeting of her career. She looked at the gate in the distance, then back at Marcus, who was still trying to get help from the airline workers. "I am sorry, sir," Janet said. But she did not sound sorry at all. "There is nothing more we can do for you today." Marcus nodded slowly. "I understand," he said, but Lisa could hear the disappointment in his voice even though he was trying to hide it. Lisa stood there for a moment, watching this man who was being treated unfairly. She thought about her grandmother, who had raised her after her parents died in a car accident when Lisa was 12. Her grandmother always said that good people help others even when it is hard, even when it costs them something. The loudspeaker spoke again. Final boarding call for Flight 447 to Chicago. All passengers must board now. Lisa looked at her watch. If she ran right now, she could still make her flight. She could sit in her comfortable seat and fly to Chicago. She could give her presentation tomorrow and maybe get the promotion that would change her life. But she could not stop looking at Marcus, who was gathering his things to leave. The airline workers had already turned away from him. They were helping other passengers now, smiling and being friendly with them in a way they had never been with Marcus. Lisa made a decision that surprised even her. Instead of running to her gate, she walked toward the customer service desk. Her heart was beating fast, but not because she was worried about missing her flight anymore. She was nervous because she was about to do something that would change everything. "Excuse me," she said to Janet, who looked up with an annoyed expression. "Yes? Are you having a problem with your flight too?" Lisa took a deep breath. She looked at Marcus, who was watching her with curious eyes. Then she looked back at Janet. "I want to give my seat to this man," Lisa said clearly. The 3 airline workers stared at her like she had said something crazy. Marcus stepped closer, his eyes wide with surprise. "Ma'am," Janet said slowly, "you cannot just give your seat to another passenger. That is not how airplane tickets work." Lisa had expected this answer. "Then I want to cancel my ticket right now. And I want him to buy a new ticket for my seat immediately." The supervisor frowned. "Are you sure about this? You will have to pay fees to change your ticket, and tomorrow's flight costs much more money." Lisa nodded. She was not thinking about the money right now. She was not even thinking about her presentation or her promotion. She was thinking about what her grandmother would want her to do. Marcus moved closer to Lisa. His voice was soft and full of concern. "Miss, you do not have to do this for me. I do not even know why you would want to help someone you have never met." Lisa looked into his kind eyes and smiled. For the first time all day, she felt like she was doing exactly the right thing. "Because helping people is always the right thing to do," she said simply. Janet stared at Lisa like she could not believe what she had just heard. The other airline workers stopped what they were doing and looked over too. Marcus stood very still, his mouth slightly open in surprise. "Ma'am, are you really sure about this?" Janet asked again. "You want to give up your seat for this man?" Lisa nodded. "Yes, I am sure." The supervisor stepped forward. Her name tag said, "Carol." She looked Lisa up and down, then glanced at Marcus. "Do you two know each other?" "No," Lisa said. "We just met." Carol shook her head slowly. "I have worked for this airline for 15 years, and I have never seen anything like this. A passenger giving up her seat for a complete stranger." The loudspeaker crackled again. "Last call for Flight 447 to Chicago. The aircraft door will close in 5 minutes. Lisa felt her stomach tighten. That was her flight, her ticket to the biggest meeting of her career. But she did not move toward the gate. Marcus touched her arm gently. "Miss, please listen to me. You do not understand what you are doing. That flight is important to you. I can see it in your eyes. Do not miss it because of me." Lisa looked at him. His eyes were kind and worried. She could tell he was a good man. That made her even more sure about her decision. "What is your name?" she asked him. "Marcus." "Marcus Johnson." "I'm Lisa Martinez." She smiled at him. "And Marcus, I know exactly what I am doing." Janet had been typing on her computer while they talked. "Okay, if you really want to do this, here is what will happen. You will pay a fee to cancel your ticket. It costs $200. Then he will have to buy a new ticket for tomorrow's flight. That ticket costs $800 more than what you paid." Lisa felt her heart skip. $800 more, plus the $200 fee. That was $1,000 total. She did not have that much extra money. Her credit card was almost at its limit already. But she looked at Marcus again. She saw how the airline workers had treated him. She saw the quiet dignity in the way he had handled their rudeness. And she thought about her grandmother's voice. "Lisa, baby, when you see something wrong happening, You do not walk away. You do something about it. That's fine, Lisa said. Let's do it. Marcus stepped in front of her. No, absolutely not. I cannot let you spend that much money on a stranger. You are not just a stranger anymore, Lisa said. You are Marcus Johnson, and you deserve to be treated fairly. Carol was getting impatient. Look, we need to decide right now. The flight is about to leave. Lisa pulled out her credit card. Her hands were shaking a little, but her voice was steady. Cancel my ticket and sell him a new one for my seat. Janet took the card and started typing. This is really happening, she muttered to herself. Marcus watched Lisa with an expression she could not quite understand. It was surprise and gratitude, but something else too. Something deeper. Why? He asked quietly. Why are you doing this? For me? Lisa thought about the question. She could have said it was because the airline workers had been rude to him. She could have said it was because she believed in fairness. Both of those things were true, but the real reason was simpler and harder to explain. Because when I was 12 years old, my parents died in a car crash, she said. I went to live with my grandmother. She was not rich, but she always helped people when they needed it. She used to say that we are all connected like pieces of a puzzle. When one piece is missing or hurt, the whole picture is broken. Marcus listened carefully to every word. Lisa continued. She told me that helping others is not about getting something back. It is about making the world a little bit better than it was before. Today, I can make your day better. That makes my day better. Too, even if it costs me something. The printer next to Janet made a noise and she pulled out a boarding pass. Here you go, sir. Seat 12A on flight 447 to Chicago. You need to run if you want to make it. Marcus took the boarding pass, but he did not look at it. He kept looking at Lisa. I do not know how to thank you. You do not need to thank me, Lisa said. Just catch your flight. But Marcus did not move. What about your meeting? The one that was so important? Lisa had been trying not to think about that. I will take the flight tomorrow morning. I will call my client and explain what happened. What will you tell them? Lisa smiled, even though she felt scared inside. The truth, that I helped someone who needed help. Janet printed out Lisa's new boarding pass for the next day's flight. Here you go, ma'am. Flight 891 tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Marcus was still standing there holding his boarding pass. Other passengers were walking quickly toward gate B12, but he did not seem to notice. I have to know, he said to Lisa. What is your meeting about? I am a marketing consultant. I help companies treat their customers better. Tomorrow I was supposed to meet with a big client. If I got them to hire my company, I would get promoted to senior consultant. Marcus's eyes widened. You help companies with customer service? Yes, I study how businesses treat people and find ways to make it better. And you gave up that meeting to help me when an airline was treating me badly? Lisa laughed. I guess that is a strange coincidence. The loudspeaker spoke one more time. Flight 447 to Chicago is now closing. Any remaining passengers must board immediately. Marcus looked toward the gate, then back at Lisa. I have to go. Yes, you do. He started to walk away, then stopped and came back. Lisa Martinez, I will not forget what you did today. Good luck with whatever you need to do in Chicago, she said. Marcus smiled. It was the first real smile she had seen from him all day. Good luck with your meeting tomorrow. I have a feeling it will work out better than you think. Then he ran toward the gate, his leather bag bouncing as he moved. Lisa watched him until he disappeared around the corner. Janet and Carol were watching. Lisa too. That was either the nicest thing I have ever seen or the craziest, Carol said. Lisa picked up her suitcase handle. Maybe it was both. She walked toward the exit, already thinking about how she would explain this to her boss. But instead of feeling worried, she felt something she had not expected. She felt proud of herself. Her grandmother would have been proud too. As she walked through the airport, Lisa did not know that Marcus Johnson was not just any passenger. She did not know that he owned the airline that had treated him so poorly. And she definitely did not know that her act of kindness was about to change both of their lives forever. Marcus sat in seat 12A and looked out the airplane window. The plane was moving down the runway, getting ready to take off. He should have felt happy and relieved. Instead, he kept thinking about Lisa Martinez, the woman who had given up her seat for him. He had never met anyone like her before. In his 42 years of life, Marcus had learned that most people only helped others when they could get something back. As the owner of SkyConnect Airlines, he knew that people were usually nice to him because they wanted his money or his business connections. But Lisa had helped him when she thought he was just a regular passenger with no power or money to give her anything in return. The plane lifted off the ground and Marcus watched Denver get smaller below him. He pulled out his phone and opened his email. There were dozens of messages waiting for him, business deals, meeting requests, and reports from his company managers, but he could not focus on any of them. He kept seeing Lisa's face when she had decided to help him. Marcus thought about what had happened at the customer service desk. Those were his employees treating him badly. He had built SkyConnect Airlines because he wanted to create an airline that treated all passengers with respect. He had started the company 10 years ago with just one airplane and a dream of better customer service. Now he had 50 airplanes and thousands of employees. But clearly, some of his workers had forgotten what his company was supposed to stand for. The flight attendant brought him a drink. She was friendly and professional, the way Marcus wanted all his employees to be. But he wondered if she would have been just as nice if he looked different or dressed differently. Meanwhile, Lisa was sitting in the airport hotel restaurant. She had checked into the hotel next to the airport because her flight was not until the next morning. Now she was trying to save her presentation by talking to her team back in Boston through her laptop computer. Her boss, Mr. Rodriguez, appeared on the screen. He looked angry. "Lisa, I cannot believe you missed the flight. This client meeting is the most important thing our company has done all year." "I know, Mr. Rodriguez, and I am very sorry. But I will be there first thing tomorrow morning. I can still do the presentation." The client wanted to meet today. They scheduled their whole day around this meeting. Now we have to ask them to change everything. Lisa felt sick to her stomach. She could see her promotion disappearing. "Please tell them I will make it worth their time. I have some new ideas that I think they will love." Her colleague Amy appeared on the screen too. Amy had always wanted the same promotion that Lisa was trying to get. "Maybe I should go to Chicago instead," Amy said. "I could be there tonight." "No," Lisa said quickly. "This is my client and my presentation. I will handle it." Mr. Rodriguez looked tired. "Lisa, you better hope this client is understanding. If we lose them because of this, it will not look good for you." The video call ended and Lisa closed her laptop. She put her head in her hands. What had she done? She had spent $1,000 she did not have and put her career at risk, all for a man she had just met. But even as she worried about her future, Lisa knew she would make the same choice again. Her grandmother had always taught her that doing the right thing was more important than doing the easy thing. Lisa ordered a sandwich and tried to work on her presentation. She wanted to make it perfect for tomorrow's meeting. As she worked, she thought about Marcus. She wondered if he had made it to his destination safely. She wondered what was so important that he needed to get to Chicago today. 2 floors up, in the same hotel, Marcus was in his suite, but he was not working either. He had tried to read his emails and prepare for his meetings, but his mind kept going back to Lisa. He had built his fortune by being smart about business. But he had never met anyone who made business decisions based on kindness instead of profit. Marcus knew he should be angry about how his employees had treated him. He should call his managers right away and demand changes. But instead of feeling angry, he felt curious. He wanted to know more about the woman who had helped him. He remembered that Lisa had said she was a marketing consultant who helped companies treat customers better. That was exactly the kind of help his airline needed. For months, Marcus had been looking for someone who could help him improve customer service at SkyConnect. He had interviewed many consultants, but they all seemed to care more about making money than about actually helping customers. Lisa was different. She had proven that she really cared about how people were treated, even when it cost her something important. Marcus made a decision. Instead of staying in his room, he would go down to the hotel restaurant and get some dinner. Maybe he would See Lisa there. He told himself it was just a coincidence, but deep down he knew he was hoping to see her again. When Marcus walked into the restaurant, he saw Lisa right away. She was sitting alone at a table near the window, typing on her laptop. She looked worried and tired. Her sandwich sat next to her computer, barely touched. Marcus walked over to her table. "Excuse me," he said softly. "I do not want to interrupt your work, but I wanted to thank you again for what you did today." Lisa looked up and smiled. For the first time since the video call with her boss, she felt a little bit better. "Oh, hi Marcus. How was your flight?" "It was perfect, thanks to you." Marcus pointed to the empty chair across from her. "Would you mind if I sat down? I would like to buy you dinner, if you will let me." Lisa saved her work and closed the laptop. "I would like that." Marcus sat down and noticed her barely eaten sandwich. "You do not look very hungry," Lisa sighed. "I was just talking to my boss about missing the meeting today. He is not very happy with me." "I am sorry. This is my fault." "No, it is not your fault. I made the choice to help you. I do not regret it." Marcus studied her face. "You really mean that, do not you?" "Yes, I do." The waiter came over, and Marcus ordered dinner for both of them. As they waited for their food, they started talking. Lisa told Marcus about her work helping companies improve their customer service. She explained how she studied the way businesses treated people and found ways to make things better. Marcus listened carefully. "Have you ever worked with airlines before?" "I have tried to, but most airline executives think they already know everything about customer service. They do not want to hear that they might be doing something wrong." Marcus almost smiled. If only she knew that she was talking to an airline executive right now. "What would you tell an airline executive if you could?" Marcus asked. Lisa thought about her experience at the airport that day. "I would tell them to watch how their employees treat passengers when they think no one important is watching. I would tell them that good customer service is not about having nice airplanes or cheap tickets. It is about treating every person like they matter, no matter what they look like or how much money they have." Marcus felt something warm in his chest. This woman understood exactly what he had been trying to create with his airline. Their food arrived, and they kept talking. Marcus asked Lisa about her family, and she told him about her grandmother who had raised her. Lisa asked Marcus about his work, and he said he was in the transportation business, which was true, even if it was not the whole truth. As the evening went on, Marcus realized he was enjoying himself more than he had in months. Lisa was smart, and funny and kind. She made him feel like a regular person instead of a wealthy businessman. And clearly, she had no idea who he really was. When they finished eating, Marcus did not want the evening to end. "Lisa, I know we just met, but I feel like I have known you much longer." Lisa felt the same way. "I know exactly what you mean." They talked until the restaurant started to close. Finally, they had to say goodnight. As they walked toward the elevators, Marcus made another decision that surprised him. Tomorrow, instead of flying to his meeting in New York, he was going to take Lisa's flight to Chicago. He told himself it was because he wanted to see more of how his airline treated passengers. But the truth was simpler. He was not ready to say goodbye to Lisa Martinez. Lisa woke up early the next morning feeling nervous. Today was the day that could change her whole career. She had called the client last night to explain why she had missed yesterday's meeting. Mr. Patterson, the client, had not been happy, but he agreed to meet with her this morning instead. She got dressed in her best business suit and checked her presentation one more time. Everything had to be perfect today. She could not afford to make any more mistakes. At the airport, Lisa was surprised to see Marcus at the gate for her flight to Chicago. He was reading a newspaper and drinking coffee. "Marcus," she said, walking over to him. "What are you doing here?" Marcus looked up and smiled. "Good morning, Lisa. I decided to change my travel plans. I have some business in Chicago, too." Lisa felt happy to see him, even though she was nervous about her meeting. "What kind of business?" "Just some meetings," Marcus said. He did not want to lie to her, but he was not ready to tell her the truth yet. What about you? Are you ready for your big presentation? Lisa sat down next to him. I hope so. This client could change everything for me, but I am scared that they will still be upset about yesterday. Any client who gets angry because you missed one meeting to help someone else is not worth working for, Marcus said. Lisa looked at him. That is very nice of you to say, but business does not always work that way. The gate agent called for boarding, and Lisa and Marcus got on the plane together. Marcus had bought a seat right next to Lisa's. During the flight, they continued the conversation they had started the night before. Tell me more about your work, Marcus said. How do you help companies treat customers better? Lisa pulled out some papers from her bag. Well, for example, I watch how employees interact with customers. I look for patterns. Do they treat all customers the same way? Do they solve problems quickly? Do they make customers feel valued? Marcus looked at the papers. They were full of charts and notes about customer behavior. This is very detailed work. It has to be. Most companies think they know how their customers feel, but they are often wrong. I spent 3 months studying a hotel chain last year. The managers thought their customers were happy because no one complained. But when I watched what really happened, I saw that customers were frustrated, but just did not bother to complain. They just never came back. What did you tell the hotel managers? I showed them exactly what their employees were doing wrong. I gave them specific examples and solutions. Within 6 months, their customer satisfaction scores went up by 40%. Marcus was impressed. This was exactly the kind of work his airline needed. Have you ever thought about working for just one company instead of many different clients? Lisa shrugged. Sometimes. But I like the variety of working with different businesses. And most companies only want consultants for short projects, not permanent jobs. What if the right company offered you a permanent job doing exactly what you love? Lisa looked at him curiously. That would be amazing, but companies like that are rare. Most businesses say they care about customer service, but they do not want to spend money to fix their problems. Marcus nodded. He knew she was right. He had seen many companies that talked about good customer service but did not actually do anything about it. The plane landed in Chicago, and Marcus and Lisa walked through the airport together. Lisa checked her watch. I have 2 hours before my meeting. Do you want to get some coffee? I would love to, Marcus said. They found a quiet coffee shop near Lisa's client's office building. As they sat down with their drinks, Marcus felt nervous. He had made a decision during the flight. He was going to tell Lisa who he really was. Lisa, I need to tell you something important, Marcus began. What is it? Marcus took a deep breath. I have not been completely honest with you about my work. Lisa felt her heart beat faster. What do you mean? Yesterday, when those airline workers treated me badly, they did not know who I was, and neither did you. Lisa waited, confused. My name is Marcus Johnson, and I own Sky Connect Airlines. Lisa stared at him. Her coffee cup stopped halfway to her mouth. You own the airline? Yes. I started the company 10 years ago. I was traveling like a regular passenger yesterday because I wanted to see how my employees really treat people. Lisa set down her coffee cup. You own the airline whose workers were so rude to you? Yes. And Lisa, what you saw yesterday was exactly the kind of problem I have been trying to fix. My employees are supposed to treat every passenger with respect no matter who they are. Lisa shook her head slowly. I cannot believe this. You are a millionaire? Actually, I am worth quite a bit more than that, Marcus said quietly. But money is not what matters to me most. What matters is that you helped me when you thought I was just a regular person who needed help. Lisa stood up suddenly. Wait a minute. If you own an airline, why did you let me pay all that money to give you my seat? You could have just told them who you were. Marcus stood up too. Because if I had told them who I was, they would have treated me differently. They would have been nice to me because I am their boss, not because it was the right thing to do. And I never would have met you. But I spent $1,000, Marcus. $1,000 I do not really have. I know, and I am going to pay you back every penny. But Lisa, please understand. What you did yesterday showed me something about your character that I could never have learned any other way. Lisa sat back down, trying to process everything Marcus had told her. So when I was telling you about my work helping companies with customer service, you were talking to someone who desperately needs that kind of help, Marcus finished. Lisa, I have been looking for months for the right person to help me improve customer service at my airline. I have interviewed dozens of consultants, but none of them understood what really matters. And what really matters? Treating every person like they have value, regardless of who they are or what they look like. You proved yesterday that you understand that better than anyone I have ever met. Lisa looked into Marcus's eyes. Are you offering me a job? I am offering you the chance to completely change how an entire airline treats its customers. I want you to be my vice president of customer experience. Lisa felt dizzy. Vice president? Marcus, I have never been a VP of anything. But you have something more important than a fancy title. You have a heart that cares about people. And you have the skills to make real changes. Lisa thought about her presentation that morning. Her current client might give her company a small project that would help her get a promotion to senior consultant. But Marcus was offering her the chance to be a vice president at a major airline. There is something else I need to tell you, Marcus said softly. What? Yesterday was not just about gratitude, Lisa. Spending time with you last night, talking with you on the plane this morning, I realized something. I think I am falling in love with you. Lisa felt her breath catch. Marcus, I know it sounds crazy. We just met yesterday. But I have never felt this way about anyone before. You are smart and kind and brave. You gave up something important to help a stranger. That tells me everything I need to know about who you are. Lisa looked at her watch. She had 1 hour before her presentation. 1 hour to decide between the safe choice and the possibility of something amazing. Marcus, I need to think about this. The job offer and the other thing you said. Of course. I do not expect you to decide right now. But Lisa, I want you to know that whether you take the job or not, I meant what I said about my feelings for you. Lisa stood up. I have to go to my meeting now. I know. Good luck. Lisa walked toward the door, then stopped and turned around. Marcus? Yes. Thank you for telling me the truth. As Lisa walked to her client meeting, her mind was spinning. 24 hours ago, she was just a marketing consultant trying to get a promotion. Now she had a job offer to be a vice president, and a millionaire had just told her he was falling in love with her. She thought about her grandmother, who always said that life could change in an instant if you were brave enough to let it. Yesterday, Lisa had been brave enough to help a stranger. Today she had to decide if she was brave enough to take a chance on love and a completely new life. Lisa walked into the tall glass building where her client meeting would take place. Her hands were shaking a little as she pressed the elevator button for the 20th floor. She tried to push all thoughts of Marcus out of her mind and focus on her presentation, but it was not easy. Mr. Patterson was waiting for her in a large conference room with windows that looked out over the city. He was an older man with gray hair and an expensive suit. 2 other people sat at the long table with him. Ms. Martinez, Mr. Patterson said, shaking her hand. I must say I was not pleased about having to reschedule this meeting. I understand completely, Mr. Patterson, and I apologize again. But I think you will find that today's presentation is worth the wait. Lisa set up her laptop and began her presentation. She talked about customer service strategies and showed charts about customer satisfaction. But as she spoke, she kept thinking about what Marcus had told her. Here she was, trying to get a small contract to help one company improve their customer service, when she could be helping an entire airline change the way they treated millions of passengers. These ideas are interesting, Ms. Martinez, said one of the other people at the table. But how do we know they will actually work? Lisa thought about yesterday at the airport. Let me tell you about something that happened to me recently, she said. I was at an airport and I watched airline employees treat a passenger very badly. They were rude and dismissive, and they made him feel like he did not matter. Mr. Patterson leaned forward. What did you do? I gave up my seat on the plane so he could travel instead of me. It cost me money and nearly cost me this meeting with you. The 3 people at the table looked confused. Why would you do that? One of them asked. Because how we treat people when we think no one is watching shows who we really are. That airline thought they were just dealing with one upset passenger, but I was watching and now I know exactly what kind of company they are. Lisa clicked to the next slide in her presentation. Good customer service is not about having the right policies written down. It is about training employees to see every customer as a real person who deserves respect. The presentation continued for another 30 minutes. When Lisa finished, Mr. Patterson was quiet for a moment. Ms. Martinez, your ideas are solid, but I have to be honest. We were expecting to meet with you yesterday, and the delay has put us behind schedule. We have decided to work with another consulting firm that can start immediately. Lisa felt her heart sink. I understand. Thank you for your time. As she packed up her laptop, Lisa thought about how different her life had been just 2 days ago. She had been so focused on this one client and this one promotion. Now she realized that maybe losing this contract was not the end of the world. Maybe it was the beginning of something better. She walked out of the building and called Marcus. He answered on the first ring. How did it go? He asked. I did not get the contract. I am sorry to hear that. Lisa surprised herself by laughing. You know what? I am not sorry. Sitting in that meeting, I realized that I was thinking too small. I was trying to help one company change a few policies when I could be helping thousands of people have better experiences every day. Does that mean you are interested in my job offer? Lisa looked up at the blue sky above Chicago. Marcus, I need to ask you something first. Anything. If I had not helped you at the airport, if we had just met at some business meeting, would you still be offering me this job? Marcus was quiet for a moment. That is a fair question. The honest answer is that I probably would not have noticed, you in a room full of other consultants. But Lisa, once I got to know your work and your ideas, I would have wanted to hire you regardless of how we met. And the other thing you said? About your feelings? That has nothing to do with business. I have met a lot of smart, capable people in my life, but I have never met anyone who made me want to be a better person just by being themselves. Lisa felt tears in her eyes, but they were happy tears. Where are you right now? At my hotel. Why? Stay there. I am coming to see you. 20 minutes later, Lisa knocked on Marcus's hotel room door. When he opened it, she walked straight into his arms and kissed him. When they broke apart, both of them were smiling. I take it that means yes to something, Marcus said. Yes to everything, Lisa said. Yes to the job, yes to working together, and yes to seeing where this goes between us. Marcus held her close. Are you sure? This will change your whole life. My grandmother used to say that the best things in life happen when you stop playing it safe and start following your heart. Yesterday I followed my heart and helped you. Today I am following my heart again. 6 months later, Lisa was sitting in her new office at SkyConnect Airlines headquarters. The nameplate on her desk read, Lisa Martinez, Vice President of Customer Experience. Through her window, she could see airplanes taking off and landing at the airport. Her phone buzzed with a text message from Marcus. How is your first day going? Lisa smiled and typed back, amazing. The customer service training program is working better than we hoped. It was true. In the 6 months since Lisa had started working at SkyConnect, customer satisfaction scores had improved dramatically. Lisa had created new training programs for all employees, teaching them to treat every passenger with respect and kindness. She had also implemented a system where employees were regularly evaluated based on how they treated customers, not just how many tickets they sold. The changes were not just about policies and procedures. Lisa had worked to change the culture of the entire company. She had shared her story about helping Marcus at the airport with all the employees, showing them that sometimes the most important thing you can do is simply treat another person like they matter. Marcus walked into her office carrying 2 cups of coffee. Even though they worked together now, he still made time every day to bring her coffee and talk about their day. The board meeting went well, he said, sitting down across from her desk. Our customer satisfaction scores are the highest in the industry. I am proud of our team, Lisa said. Everyone has worked so hard to make these changes. Marcus reached across the desk and took her hand. Lisa, I have something to ask you. What is it? Marcus got down on one knee beside her desk and pulled out a small box. Lisa Martinez, you changed my life the day you missed your flight to help a stranger. You made me believe in kindness again. You made me want to be the kind of person who deserves your love. Will you marry me? Lisa looked at the ring, then at Marcus's hopeful face. She thought about her grandmother, who had always believed that love and kindness were the most important things in life. Yes, she said, tears streaming down her face. Yes, I will marry you. Marcus slipped the ring onto her finger and kissed her. Outside the window, another SkyConnect airplane took off into the blue sky. 1 year later, Marcus and Lisa were married in a small ceremony, attended by their families and the employees of SkyConnect Airlines. The wedding invitation read, "Love took flight when two strangers chose kindness over convenience. Join us as we celebrate not just our marriage, but the reminder that the best journeys begin when we help each other along the way." At the reception, Lisa's grandmother's favorite song played while she and Marcus danced. Lisa remembered her grandmother's words, "Baby, when you see someone who needs help, you do not walk away. You do something about it." Lisa had done something about it, and it had changed everything. She had missed her flight to help a stranger, never knowing that stranger would become the love of her life. Sometimes the most important destinations are the ones you never planned to reach. As they danced, Marcus whispered in her ear, "Thank you for missing your flight." Lisa smiled and whispered back, "Thank you for being worth missing it for." And in that moment, surrounded by the people they loved, Lisa knew that her grandmother had been right. The best things in life really do happen when you follow your heart and choose kindness even when it costs you something, especially when it costs you something